for today's hearings at the Capitol. As for what's on the agenda, the Joint Finance Committee is working on the next part of the budget. This session will include funding for the Department of Corrections and the UW system. Now, you'll remember the UW system was one of the more contentious issues that Republicans and the governor couldn't agree on. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson.
From local news to what's going on around the state, Civic Media's mission is to bring you real news and great conversation. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.FM.
Another win for the Thunder. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Basketball, NBA Finals. The Oklahoma City Thunder, with a victory at home last night, 120-109 over the Indiana Pacers. OKC's Jalen Williams, with a playoff career-high 40 points, was asked how were the Thunder defensively able to hold off the Pacers this time in the fourth quarter.
Everybody's just really aggressive. Everybody takes pride in it, and when you have five guys on the floor that are taking pride in their matchup, it makes your defense very special. So we're all willing to cover for each other and just make the right reads defensively, and when we mess up, we don't stop.
Game 6 is Thursday night. OKC up 3-2. Baseball tonight, the Brewers against the first-place Cubs in Chicago. Milwaukee's been on a roll since they swept the Phillies at Citizens Bank Park. Trevor McGill.
I mean, I feel like the team's been doing it for a couple of weeks now, ever since that Phillies, kind of turnaround series. We're stringing some wins together.
That's Brewers pitcher Trevor McGill. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
This is your local Civic Media radio station. Want to hear even more? Anytime? Find all of it at civicmedia.us.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Mostly cloudy with a few showers and thunderstorms tonight and lows in the mid-60s. Cloudy with scattered showers and thunderstorms for tomorrow, highs 70 to 75. More sunshine for Thursday, warm and muggy with a few showers and thunderstorms by Thursday night. Highs near 80. It's 82 right now.
Matt Nair on air.
From articles that I have seen, if you are a bagel purist, you should not toast your bagel. I think nothing's better than a toasted bagel and a schmear.
Folks, do we have a moment of honesty? Do you really like bagels, or do you like the schmear that is transported by them? Get rid of the stigma. If I walk into this room eating cream cheese out of a tub with a spoon.
Why is that wrong?
Matt Nair on air. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Rational Revolution with Mark Becker.
We'll talk with former Attorney General J.B. Van Hollen about his bipartisan effort with the Democracy Defense Project.
Rational Revolution with Mark Becker, Saturdays at broadcasting live statewide from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay. This is Nite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a guy who's had a paper route for 25 years but never collected, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome to Nightlight, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. It is a Tuesday night in Wisconsin, and I would say, overall, this has been a great day. And I'll tell you exactly why that is. Because we are all here together, ladies and gentlemen. We are talking about movies and TV and music and art. And we've got a lot of it tonight on the show. Rob Thomas, our pal, the Madison film critic and CityCast Madison newsletter editor, will be here at 6:35 to talk movies and TV and some cool stuff happening in Madison that's coming up. And then in the second hour, our pal Piet Levy, the music writer for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, will be here talking about Summerfest. And I will probably ask him about Brian Wilson and get his thoughts on all that. Piet does great work and has for a couple decades now at the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Just a great writer and always a fun guest on Nightlight. So lots of fun stuff to talk about tonight. Movies and music and some cool stuff happening in Madison. So we've got a great show. We've got a great question. Conrad is here tonight. Have you been here all week?
Yeah.
Okay. It says Dennis something or other on the. You left a wrong name up, so I would get confused probably during the show.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Does that sound about right, Dennis?
I just think it's a cool name.
It's not too late.
I did have something happen to me today.
What happened?
I don't know if it's just like my face or something, but I was in a 4-way stop, and these two ladies, needed to cross the street.
Okay.
I was next in line for the 4-way stop. One person went, and I said, no, yeah, you can go. Waved them on. They looked at me and just walked across.
No wave.
They didn't give me a Wisconsin wave.
You get no respect. You are the Rodney Dangerfield of Northeast Wisconsin, my friend. That's got to stop.
I looked at them the whole way crossing, just waiting for it. And they just kept walking. I'm like, what's going on?
Did you try to intimidate them?
Maybe I just had that angry look on my face. Like I didn't want them to cross, but I was like, I guess.
If I were you, and it seems to be the older women that want to give you the shiv.
It is.
You should let them know what you bench. Just that you are not a guy to. You look stocky, man. You've been lifting weights?
I've been lifting a lot of weights.
I can tell.
Did I tell you I benched 275?
Really?
Yeah, on my birthday.
All at once?
No, separately.
I could do that in like 4 or 5 increments.
Yeah, this PR.
That's a good, what's PR?
Personal record.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice, dude. That's
Never got it before.
Once? That's because
once.
your max bench is just, you do it once, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I just felt good that day.
You have a spotter when you do that?
I randomly asked a person there.
Okay.
It's kind of awkward, but whatever gets the job done.
Like if you didn't ask someone and they saw you were struggling, is yours the kind of gym where people would come to your rescue?
Yeah, I
Like
think.
if you started,
I hope so.
yeah.
I don't think they just let me die there.
Do you think you could finagle your way out of that situation? Like you
No,
got it on your
okay.
chest and it's not going anywhere.
See, this is the thing is that you got to I put the weight things on the end,
Yeah.
So like if that does happen, I can't like push them off. So I'm like debating if I should even use those.
Because you think you could lift one side and get the weight off.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. What do they call those? Butterflies or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. That's I like to think I could get my way out of that, but I don't know.
I'm hoping I never find out.
I don't know if I could get all 60 pounds off my chest. Conrad, that's funny. I just said I benched 60 pounds.
No, that's good for you, man.
It's not a PR. I haven't benched in 30 years. I have no idea what I could get up. I really don't care. But 275, that's a lot, dude.
Yeah.
It's like lifting an NFL linebacker up off your chest.
It is, yeah.
Fun show tonight. Our question of the night is happening right now, folks.
Let's talk about the question.
Okay, question.
Question. Question.
Pregunta.
Question.
Question.
Okay, I have a question. Questions? This question.
Domanda.
Question.
Questions.
What is your favorite or least favorite vegetable? It is National Vegetable Day today, folks. And we had Sherry Stoka on the show last night. And I would like to celebrate her successful run on Nightlight as a guest last night by asking this question. Because she talked about vegetables last night. And it's the National Day. It's the National Vegetable Day. So what is your least favorite or favorite vegetable? Let us know at 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. You can text us on the app. Or if you're listening on Facebook or watching the radio on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, let us know there as well. You can text us on the stream. And give us a like or a follow while you're there, too. It's always fun to hear from listeners on Facebook or any one of our streaming platforms that we use to broadcast Nightlight. Let us know what your favorite or least favorite vegetable is. Conrad, you got an answer for that?
I actually got 3 I dislike heavily.
Really?
Yes. Green beans, can't stand them. I've tried them all the ways. My brother has a vegetable garden. It's like, these are the freshest you'll get out here. And I tried it, and it tastes like straight water and a little bit of weird aftertaste to me. I was like, okay, that's not for me. My main thing I hate, though, is cauliflower.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I love broccoli, but cauliflower, it's that white. I don't know. I just
It
don't
is
like
a weird texture. I agree with you there. And when I was your age, I don't think I started eating cauliflower till I was in my 40s, and then I loved it. It's weird. I really like cauliflower now, and I love sautéing it or putting it in the oven with some olive oil. But I understand that. It's a strange looking vegetable too. It's not green. It's got a white. It reminds me of an MMA fighter's ear, and I shouldn't be thinking about that when I'm eating vegetables.
And then the last one, I just hate peas. I don't get why they're a vegetable. They're gross.
You and Amanda Nimmer on the social media said that peas were her least favorite. She said peas are useless. Well, they're not useless. She said, and disgusting.
Yeah, I totally agree. But my favorite is mushrooms. I love mushrooms.
Yeah.
Is that vegetable or?
Yeah, that's a vegetable. I like deep fried mushrooms with ranch. That's my favorite vegetable.
Any way of mushroom, I will eat.
Okay.
And I mean I can't. The obvious one is carrots. Those are great too.
Yeah, carrots are good.
Yeah. What about you?
I think I like them all. I don't like eggplant necessarily. I'll eat it.
I love eggplant.
But I don't, and it's weird because I like zucchini. I like cucumbers. I love zucchini, actually, on the grill, especially with some Parmesan and olive oil. And I've gotten to a point in my life where I kind of just started liking foods that were good for me. And I don't know something clicked. That's when I started eating cauliflower. And I pretty much like all vegetables. But yeah, eggplant just doesn't, it's kind of tasteless.
Have you tried it like on the grill too?
Yeah, that's better. And I wouldn't say zucchini is like the most, tasty or tangy vegetable either. They're similar, but I don't know. I like the texture of zucchini better. Every time I have eggplant, it's like really mushy.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean,
so,
I didn't like eggplant until last year when my brother kind of introduced me.
Okay.
And I tried it on the grill, but they also like breaded it their way though. So it was like really bad stuff.
Okay.
And then they put it in the air fryer and it was dynamite.
So it's not deep fried, but it's breaded.
Yeah, breaded, but not like deep fried in oil or anything. It's just in the air fryer. It was really good.
Okay. Yeah, I would have to say my favorite now might be cauliflower, but I could eat I could eat tons of broccoli. I like it all. I like zucchini.
Yeah.
I like peppers, onions, love onions and garlic. Yeah, it's all good stuff now. I'm glad I grew into that too, because I wasn't a huge vegetable fan when I was younger. And I do like peas, I will say. They're really good for you. They're very high in fiber, and I do like them. So
it's also high in fiber? A Fiber One bar.
True. But what else is in that?
Tastes a lot better.
What else is in that?
You don't need to look at that.
The chemicals?
No.
Let's get Sherry back on the blower.
It's just fiber. That's it. Yeah. That's why it's called Fiber
Pure
One.
fiber.
Because it's a fiber in one ingredient.
Well, I remember that Fiber One cereal that I used to eat when I was younger, just trying to get fiber into my system. And it tasted like you were eating sticks. It was the worst tasting cereal ever.
Kellogg's released a protein cereal or something like that. And I tried it. And it was the same thing. It was like I was eating sticks. And then it got really stale super fast too. So it was like wet sticks.
Yeah. That's awful.
I never got it again.
So I got to get something off my chest here. And I don't mean to, I'm really happy here at Civic Media. I love doing the show from here in Green Bay. Todd Michaels is our fearless leader. But I feel like, when the boss goes on vacation, we should have a vacation from the boss too. We should not have to deal with his nonsense. He is on vacation. So it should be a lackluster, kind of a chill week here, casual. I'm wearing shorts tonight because Todd's on vacation. He should not be checking in on the chat. I see Todd because he can't let go. He's just a workhorse, and he's texting in on the chat. I'm like, that's not fair. I want a week where the boss is gone, and if I want to do the show in bare feet or no pants, I have that option.
Well,
it's just not fair.
You should do it at home then.
Oh, I almost did today. I was crabby. I didn't want to get the car because I drove here today, and here's the thing. It's very. You ever been driving on the highway and sneeze? I have monster sneezes, and especially like now with the pollen count in the air and the allergens and all that kind of nonsense. I had a double sneeze today. My eyes were probably closed for about 4 seconds on Highway 41. It was horrible. And I opened them. I was like, whoa, but I couldn't, You ever try to sneeze with your eyes open? It's supposed to be physically impossible.
I've tried it.
Yeah,
I don't think I've achieved it.
Pop a corpuscle or something. But and that's what made me think of Todd. I said, Todd is not here. He likes the driving in stories. He's supposed to be on vacation, and he's texting in, and I don't think that's fair.
You know what? Since you're saying you should be casual,
yeah.
Why aren't you wearing that Badger hat that I saw in the huge
company meeting today?
Yeah, the company meeting today.
That was just because I had bad head.
Well, you could wear that here. You know,
I'm having a good hair night. If I had a bad hair night, I would totally wear that Badger hat. If the Badgers go to the playoffs, I don't wear a baseball hat to work because I'm not an animal. I dress up. I like to look presentable. But
you know what?
Half kidding. But if the Badgers made the playoffs or something, I would totally wear a Badgers hat.
I think you should just full Wisconsin Badger gear tomorrow. Jersey, some sweatpants, maybe get some Wisconsin Badger shoes.
It's not going to happen. Here's why. I find that strange. Like, I have an issue when dudes wear all the same paraphernalia. Shoes, sweats, shirt, and hat. Like, all Packer gear or all St. Louis Cardinal gear. Whatever it is, I just think that's a little juvenile. I think you're supposed to outgrow that. And you can cheer for your team, but I find that strange.
My favorite is when I go to the gym and I'm shooting some hoops, and there's a guy that comes in a full LeBron James jersey. He's the Laker shorts and the Laker top.
Right.
And he's the headband on. And the LeBron shoes, just to finish it off.
That's the same thing, though. That's odd to me. My son and I have that running joke. We're like, hey, like if a guy walked in a jersey, oh, LeBron's here. And one of us will look. It's like, no, it's a short white dude with I don't know. Hey, Kristen Lyerly's show, folks. If you haven't heard Kristen Lyerly's show, check it out on the weekends. I was a guest this last weekend. I just listened to it on the way down. She's really good. She does a great job. We had a lot of fun on the air. You can still hear it on the Civic Media app, which you should already have anyway, folks. All right, we're going to come back. We're going to read your texts, and I'm going to tell you something that really annoys me about the weather. That's coming up next on Nightlight with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Tell me, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home of Mino and the Mayor.
Streaming TV is where it's at. It's not about cutting the cord anymore. It's all about your customized TV options. With the best and cheapest high-speed internet and your own TV subscriptions, we've got your dream TV lineup. Between wired and satellite internet and TV, save money and get more internet speed and better TV today by calling the Whole Home Connect.
800-217-9129. 800-217-9129. 800-217-9129.
Look up cheese curds. You'll find this basic definition. Wet pieces of curdled milk. Well, it should also include the word delicious. As we continue to celebrate June Dairy Month, do you know how much milk is needed to make 1 pound of cheese curds? 16 ounces, 64 ounces, or 160 ounces, 10 pounds of milk? The answer coming up.
It actually is a sound of freshness.
Rachel Kerr is talking about squeaky curds. She's with the Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin and a bit of a cheese nerd.
Those elastic protein strands rub against the enamel of your teeth and create that characteristic sound.
The squeak turns stretchy when battered and deep fried. Some believe the idea to fry globs of cheese happened by accident. I consider it a happy accident. Okay, did you guess? It takes 10 pounds of milk, which is a big gallon jug plus a little bit more, to make 1 pound of squeaky cheese curds. Call me your curd girl for this slice of Wisconsin. I'm Terry Barr for the Civic Media Radio Network.
At Hazelden Betty Ford, treating mental health isn't just about breaking old patterns, it's about braving new ones. As the leader in alcohol and drug treatment for 75 years, we know caring for addiction, anxiety, depression, and trauma goes hand in hand. We're here for you with new tools when life breaks down. Discover your path to better mental health at hazeldenbettyford.org/Wisconsin. Sponsored by Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation.
Is getting vaccinated on your to-do list? We can help you check that off.
You've got this.
Yes, you do. See how we've got you at yougotthis.usaging.org. A message from the Aging and Disability Vaccination Collaborative, powered by U.S. Aging.
Welcome back. This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. I have to get this off my chest. I was really annoyed today, and here's why. We turned the air on. It's really muggy. It's not. I wouldn't say it's like crazy hot, but it's very muggy. We're running the air. I had the heat on a week ago. It's terrible. Who do I complain to about this?
Brittany Merlot.
I don't want to give Brittany extra work. That's what I do when I say my prayers. I say, God, what's going on here? Can you fix this? Our question of the night, it's National Vegetable Day, folks. What is your favorite vegetable or least favorite? You can share both. You can share one. There are no rules to this. Just have fun and be part of the show, and we will read your text on the radio. Dave on the stream says, best corn. I don't think of corn for whatever reason, but it is a vegetable. Worst okra. Okay. Those are good choices. I was not expecting to see okra tonight. But corn is good too. And I don't know, does the vegetable count if you can like douse it in butter and put salt on it?
I mean, you can do that to a lot of vegetables.
Yeah, you can. You want to know what's funny? Last night, Sherry Stoker was here. I always love talking to Sherry. Love her insights into nutrition and diet. And as she's leaving, I said, thank you, Sherry. You've motivated me not to have Taco Bell for at least 3 or 4 days. Guess where I stopped on the way back to town? It's because I mentioned it to Sherry. So I got it in my head, and I'm going, I think I need Taco. And I haven't had Taco Bell in like 4 months. But
What'd you get?
all of a sudden, it was really, you know what I get? I get the Crunchwrap Supreme because it's crunchy, and there's a wrap around it. Thus, the Crunchwrap. But I get it without sour cream, and they're only like, not only, but they're 500 calories. So that's my only meal. I had 2 of those and 2 tacos.
Well, you don't know where the beef comes from.
I don't know if it's even beef. I don't know what the hell I'm eating, but I'm not.
It tastes good though.
It was like a salt fix that and I hadn't eaten all day. That was my meal, but still, it's terrible. And I hope Sherry's not listening.
Well, there's some vegetables in there.
There's a little bit of lettuce.
You get tomatoes.
Yeah, that's true.
I think some onions.
And the tomatoes are almost some type of shade of red. So I think there's probably a lot of nutrients in there. So I'm not proud of myself. But our question of the night. Oh, yeah, we got a phone call?
Yeah.
Let's take that call.
Yeah, Ollie from the Northwoods.
Oh, we missed Ollie last night, so that's good. Hey, Ollie, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. I have 3 different vegetables that I can't stand.
Oh, wow.
Our parents had a rule that you had to have 1 spoonful of something, whether you liked it or not. And if you made a face, you got another spoonful.
Oh, man.
Well, my 3 I couldn't stand was peas, lima beans, and Brussels sprouts. Well, I learned how to swallow the peas and lima beans whole without having to chew them. But Brussels sprouts were a little harder to do.
Do you like Brussels sprouts now, Ollie?
No.
Still don't
I don't like any of those. Still.
That's fantastic. Thanks so much for the call, Ollie. Have a great night.
You guys too. Bye-bye.
All right. Peas are a big winner tonight. Brian from Green Bay says, did you try and smell their bath water?
Was he talking about the people that are crossing the street?
Either that or the guys that are spotting you at the gym. Either way, I don't really care to smell anybody's bath water. You know what's funny is, I totally fell for this. The Sydney Sweeney Bath Time Bliss soap, my daughter told me it has a hole in the middle of the soap, and it's only dudes buying it. I'm like, you have to be kidding. She pulled up a picture on, Google or whatever and showed it to me. And it's a hoax. That's not really.
No,
but I believed it, Conrad. When these guys are paying this much money, and I know there's a lot of lonely men out there who maybe just want to curl up with a bar of soap at night, especially if it smells like Sydney Sweeney. I believed it. Are you telling me that's so far-fetched?
Well, I just got my 30-pack the other day.
Okay. How many bars are left?
No holes in it. No holes in it.
Not yet.
But I have taken a lot of baths.
Can I even say not yet on the radio? I don't know. Yeah, it was. I totally bought it, and it would not have surprised me. I mean, it's weird enough that bathwater, soap, and bathwater is dirty, typically, even if it's Sydney Sweeney's. So, but I believe it. I'm a sucker. All right. So Annie from Watertown says, Donald Trump pumpkin? What's that? A vegetable? Or maybe her favorite is pumpkin and she doesn't like Donald Trump. I don't know. Thank you, Annie. Mark from Prairie to Sac, he's in the 608, says, was talking what they benched. One of the first conversations between Dirk, Eddie, Mark Wahlberg, and Reed, John C. Reilly in Boogie Nights. Yes, that is one of the funniest conversations or lines in that movie. What do you bench? And it totally took me back to the early 80s when I used to go to pornographic parties at pools. So Mark also says, I'm sorry, Mark. Oh, he sent that same text 3 times. He must have really wanted an answer. I hope 4 times, Mark. Mark also says carrots, celery, and pickled beets. I don't know if that means, I would assume he's just sharing the ones he doesn't like. You like those, Mark, or you don't like them? Let us know. Jim from Appleton, that's the 920. He says, explain this one to me. I agree completely with the K-Man. I love broccoli, but can't stand cauliflower. Well, I mean, they're very different vegetables. I mean, they kind of look the same, but that's like saying
they just don't taste the same.
You love root beer, but hate Mr. Pibb, you know? You ever do that? You go in and go, do you have root beer? No, but we have Dr. Pepper. Okay. They're very different. Do you have any idea?
Well, I mean, yeah, one is caffeine, one doesn't too.
Well, they just aren't the same thing. You have Coke? No, but we have 7-Up. Well, I assume you had something. REPs are the big winner. Cam sent a picture, too, of me with a very tall forehead. Is Cam saying he doesn't like, is that like a carrot thing or a cone head?
I think he just wanted to
He's just having
do a
fun.
little Photoshop.
He's just having fun at home. All right, Cam, thank you. Let's not share that. All right, we're coming back. Rob Thomas is here next, folks. We're going to talk some movies with Rob and what's going on in Madison. So great to have you with me on this Tuesday night on Night Light with Pete Schwaba. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for the Maggie Dawn Show.
Local radio for you and your community. It's Civic Media's mission with stations across Wisconsin. Find your favorites at civicmedia.us.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. Green Bay Alders Alyssa Profit and Joey Presley won a resolution opposing conversion therapy in the city. Conversion therapy is the process of causing a homosexual person to become heterosexual, a practice shown to have dangerous mental impacts on the LGBTQ+ community. The Protection and Policy Committee voted 2-2 on the resolution yesterday, so it now goes to the Green Bay Common Council for a vote on June 24th, with no recommendation from the committee. Calumet and Outagamie counties, along with the municipalities of Appleton, Buchanan, Harrison, and Kaukauna, are working with the East Central Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission to secure $800,000 in federal funds to study ways to reduce traffic-related deaths and injuries along County KK in the Fox cities. Studies show that there were 823 crashes on County KK between 2018 and 2022. Planners attribute the number of crashes to congestion from 441 and increased development. The 2024 Comprehensive Safety Action Plan identified the County KK corridor as a top priority among dangerous intersections and roads. Together, the counties and municipalities will supply $160,000 towards this study. Kimberly residents attended listening sessions yesterday as the village considers partnering with the Outagamie County Sheriff's Office for its law enforcement services, thus leaving the Fox Valley Metro Police Department. The village contends they'll save almost $300,000 a year if they switch. Village President Chuck Quinn says it's possible the question will be put to a referendum for voters to decide. Fox Valley Metro Police currently serves Kimberly and Little Chute. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.FM.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Law & Order SVU star Mariska Hargitay has had an incredible 26-year run on the show as Captain Olivia Benson. She has a side project that recently screened at the Tribeca Film Festival called My Mom Jane. In the documentary, Hargitay talks about her famous mother, Jane Mansfield, who was killed in a car accident in 1967. That is pretty much common knowledge, but what is not is that a 3-year-old Mariska was not only in the car with her mother, 2 siblings, and 2 other adults, but that she actually went missing after the accident. Apparently, authorities came to the rescue of Hargitay's 2 young siblings who were in the back seat with her. While taking her siblings to the hospital, her brother Zoltan woke up and said, "Where is my sister?" First responders went back and found Mariska, who was so small she was lodged under the passenger seat. Mansfield, her lawyer, and driver were all in the front seat and were killed. My Mom Jane streams on Max starting June 27th. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Your news, conversations, and a whole lot of fun. It's all on your local Civic Media radio station or the Civic Media app.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Mostly cloudy with a few showers and thunderstorms tonight and lows in the mid-60s. Cloudy with scattered showers and thunderstorms for tomorrow, highs 70 to 75. More sunshine for Thursday, warm and muggy with a few showers and thunderstorms by Thursday night. Highs near 80. We're sitting at 84 degrees right now.
The Maggie Dawn Show.
Mark Sommerhauser, the communications director for the Wisconsin Policy Forum, analyzing the impacts of the big brutal bill.
That number that you mentioned of nearly $15,000 per person, literally about a quarter of the state's economy.
Basically a quarter of the state's economy coming from the federal government. I'm not hearing from Republicans in the state in their biennial budget planning any sort of contingency plan for major disruption in federal funding coming into the state.
The award-winning Maggie Dawn Show at its new time, weekdays 4 till 6 p.m. The Todd Albaugh Show.
Ken, as I like to call him, my least favorite Martin, chairman of the Democratic National Committee.
The other night I said to myself for the first time, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
Matt Flynn.
You go into combat and the general goes, I'm afraid. It reminds me of the coach of the Jets back in the 90s. The other team would come on the field and say, boy, they look big. No, I swear to God. And the Jets lost 12 games. I mean, You can't have this kind of stuff. Get this guy out of here. Put in Ben Wickler.
The Todd Albaugh Show. Weekdays 2 to 4 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. Maggie Dawn.
Who wins in war? Billionaires do.
Her name was Lola. She was a showgirl with yellow feathers in her hair and a dress cut down her there. She would merengue and do the cha-cha. And while she tried to
This
be
is
a
Nightlight
star,
with Pete Schwaba. I am Pete Schwaba. Those are the golden pipes of Barry Manilow, who turns 172 today. He's been around forever. I was actually surprised he was only 81. Which means, God, I was listening to him in the 70s. That's crazy. Welcome back to Nightlight, folks. We got a great show tonight. We're talking movies and some fun things happening in Madison. And then we'll talk about Summerfest and some music with Piet Levy from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel in hour number 2. This vegetable question has really struck a chord.
Yeah.
We're going to have to do like an overtime thing, like a Bill Maher dealio here or something to get through all the texts. I think people are passionate about vegetables, whether they love them or hate them. But what I want to know is, how does Rob Thomas, Madison film critic, feel about vegetables? He's also the CityCast Madison newsletter editor, and he joins us now on the stream, as he so often does. Hey, buddy.
How you doing, Pete?
Are you a vegetable guy?
That's an interesting question. Like, I definitely was picky as a kid.
Yeah.
Peas and corn, that's about it. I think I've embraced most vegetables now, but it does remind me, I was out to dinner Sunday and I had a side salad with my burger, and the guy came to pick it up and he said, there was still like a few leaves left. He's like, you want to finish? And I was like, for me, that's finished for a salad. Like, I'm not going to clean the whole thing out, but if I get 2/3 of the way there, that's a finished salad. I get points for that one. Yeah.
So you're not a vegetable lover per se.
No, but I mean, you can make them good. You can roast asparagus or Brussels sprouts or whatever, and you can get by.
I agree, and I'm that guy that does just the opposite. I can't stand watching like the healthy stuff go to waste, So like my daughter will be like, she'll have a few bites of a salad, or my wife will leave a couple tomatoes or something, and I'll be that like human doggy bag when it comes to salads.
Good for you.
I try, I'm not like the healthiest guy in the world, but when it's sitting there looking me in the face, I can't throw it away. I'd rather finish the salad than muscle down 4 more bites of a burger that I don't need, if that makes sense.
Wow, that's discipline.
I can tell you're impressed, Rob.
I am.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Summer's good. I'm hopefully in the home stretch of a summer cold here that's been sticking around, but good. My youngest graduated from high school over the weekend, so I'm
I saw that on Facebook.
facing empty nester syndrome, and
yeah. I went through that last year. My daughter went to junior college or community college, I guess, for a year, and then went away last year for her second year, and it's like haunting. The house is so quiet. And I remember when my son went to school, and he had kind of the whole basement to himself. It's like a finished basement type, split level, whatever. And I would hear him down there, even though he wasn't there. I hated it. I hated the adjustment of becoming empty nesters.
But great. Well, I'm real excited about it. Thanks for the pep talk, Pete.
So enjoy your fall.
That is funny. Because my stepson controls the basement.
Yeah.
And when he's gone, I don't know if I'll feel comfortable going down to like watch TV down there, because I'm so used to that being his domain. It's weird. Yeah.
I read Al Franken's book years ago, and he said it's not about quality time. It's about quantity time. Big blocks of stinking time when you're all just in the house together, not even necessarily doing anything. And I totally understood that when my son went away to college, because the same thing, like that's where the big TV is. I go downstairs and it's weird knowing A, that he's not watching TV with me, and B, that he's not even in his room down the hall.
Yeah,
it's
right.
kind of a drag.
Yeah.
All right. Now that we've depressed everyone, let's get to some movie talk, shall we? So, all right. So I'm trying to figure out where to start here with you, Rob. You got movies. You got some really fun stuff that I am in love with. CityCast Madison. I love reading.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's really a good. It's just everything is fun. Whether you guys are rating donut shops in Madison or outdoor eating, it's just a great. It's a really fun read. So I want to ask you about a movie, because Conrad saw this movie last week, and I can't remember if you and I had talked about it. The Surfer. I have not seen it yet. Conrad saw it and said it was really strange. Have you seen that movie, Rob?
I have not. It was at the Wisconsin Film Festival when we were there, but I couldn't make time to go see it. I was curious for sure.
It was high on my list to see, but it's one of those films you see on Rotten Tomatoes where, critics, I think it was like in the 80s, and then the audience was like at 50. And I'm like, okay, something at the end happens that people don't like or something, And Conrad just said it was really weird.
Yeah, it's about. I remember watching the trailer, and it's about Nicolas Cage. So one of his seemed like a trademark weird Nicolas Cage role, where he plays this middle-aged guy who goes back to this Australian, and correct me, Conrad, if I get this wrong, but Australian surf town where he grew up, and is like bullied by the locals, and I'm sure it gets much weirder than that, but it seemed very out there. And
that's the part that I responded to. I thought this could be cool. He teaches the young bucks a lesson to straight up shoot him up or fight him up or whatever, but apparently not.
No.
Not even close.
Really? Wow. That's interesting. All right. Well, I'll have to check it out. Maybe next time you're here, we will have both seen it. But you've got some other films that you reviewed on your Substack. Check out Rob's work on Substack. That's where most of his movie reviews are nowadays. And let's start with The Life of Chuck. I really liked what I read about this, and it's based on a Stephen King novel, and Mike Flanagan is the director. You seem to respond to it. Can you tell us about The Life of Chuck and what your thoughts are?
Yeah, what's funny is you mentioned Stephen King and Mike Flanagan, but it's not a horror movie. Not really.
Right.
I mean, it's very hard to describe, which is probably a good thing, because the less you know in some ways, the better. But it takes a very unconventional look at like one man's life. It kind of goes back in time, and makes these interesting connections. There's sort of kind of supernatural things going on. Tom Hiddleston plays the man as an adult. You also see him as a kid. And it was the movie. I think I told you I love doing these mystery movies on Monday nights at my local AMC, and this was the movie, and I knew I had not seen a trailer, just saw the poster and didn't know what I was getting into. But it's very light. I mean, it's a lot about death. It's a lot about mortality, but it's also I saw a lot of comparisons to It's a Wonderful Life, and that it's very life affirming and very much about like all the connections that one life makes that you don't really realize at the time that sort of add up to the importance of a life. So, highly recommend it. Some people might see it as a little too sentimental, which I understand. But I think it takes so many interesting turns along the way where you're like, what is going on here? That it sort of keeps that at bay, I think.
That's interesting. You said it started with like in an apocalypse.
Right. I wasn't quite sure I wanted to say that a lot, but yeah, basically the first act is the end of the world, and it's very realistic. I got to say, in some ways, and like how people would face that, and it's not like a Deep Impact or an Armageddon. It's just sort of like everything's kind of falling apart, and there's just this one very weird twist to it where everywhere people start seeing these billboards with this guy Chuck, and nobody knows who this is, and that's how the movie starts. And that's the start is Act 3, and then you go to Act 2 and Act 1. So it's a really strange structure, but that follows, I guess, Stephen King's story pretty closely. So
the apocalypse part does sound like Stephen King and Mike Flanagan, I guess.
Well, I mean, they know how to hook you. Their story, and there are a couple of, I don't know if they'll call them jump scares, but definitely shocks as that happens. But it's the kind of thing that sort of keeps you off balance in a way that's really good, because you're sort of open to like, okay, what's going to happen next? And like, what does that mean? And who's this person? And so it's not a straightforward inspirational drama at all.
But you were kind of an open book in your review. Tell us what happened at the very end, Rob.
Oh, yeah. Spoiler alert. Yeah. I mean, it was funny. I think, like I said, it keeps you kind of held in, and it's very moving, but like I was pretty dry eyed. And then like the last shot of the film, like I just lost it, like in a way I haven't in a movie in a long time.
Wow.
Like it all just kind of built up. It was a really, it's a positive experience, but it was really interesting kind of see myself go through that. And like all of a sudden it's like, boom,
Well, that part of the review, I mean, I liked all of it, but that made me go, I have to see this movie now. Like, it can affect you and creep up on you like that. That's
I'm curious what you think. If you'll,
let's talk about Rob Thomas is my guest, by the way. He is a Madison film critic and the CityCast Madison newsletter editor. Check out CityCast Madison. You can also follow Rob. He does a great Substack, great reviews in his Substack at Not That Rob Thomas. Is it Not That Rob Thomas?
It is,
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just Google Not That Rob Thomas Substack. Great stuff. So I wanted to ask you about this new movie too, Echo Valley, with that stars Sydney Sweeney, and then I think there's some other actors in there as well. But what Julianne Moore is the other actor, and she's fantastic.
Oh, yes.
And Sydney Sweeney's not a bad actor. They're both great. But the movie, how was the movie?
It's just okay. It's an Apple TV Plus original, so it's not in theaters, but if you have Apple TV, you can watch it. Okay. And it's a kind of a thriller. The guy who wrote Mayor of Easttown, that Kate Winslet HBO series, I think a couple of years ago. Yeah. So similar, where it's like a mystery, but it's or a thriller, more of a thriller, I guess, in this case, but very grounded in sort of real emotions. And like Julianne Moore plays this horse farm owner who's had like a series of tragedies in her life and is sort of barely holding it together. And kind of the one joy in her life is her adult daughter, played by Sydney Sweeney, who we can see is a manipulative junkie who is totally taking advantage of her mother. But her mother is always like, one more chance, and And so anyway, one night the daughter comes home covered in blood that's not hers, asking for help, and it kind of spirals out from there. What's interesting is that it takes a twist in halfway through that I kind of thought where I knew this movie was going. It took a really good twist that I did not see coming. But kind of after that, it becomes like a totally different movie, and it's not really about the mother-daughter anymore. So Julianne Moore's kind of like Nicole Kidman doing a lot these days on streaming. Like you see, she has that Siren show on Netflix, and she's really good in this. But the movie is not really quite up to her performance.
Interesting.
Yeah, so worth at least starting on streaming and seeing how it goes. Yeah.
Well, we're going to do a very short break, and then I'm going to ask Rob about a new show called Department Q. We didn't get to that last time, and you mentioned it again, so I'm thinking maybe Rob likes it or really dislikes it. You'll have to wait through the break and find out, and then we'll talk about some things going on in and around Madison. There's some Juneteenth celebrations, outdoor dining in Madison, all kinds of great stuff. And Kelly from Wanakee on the stream on the text line in the 608 says, I saw The Life of Chuck yesterday. It was good. All right, Kelly. Thank you. We are coming right back. This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Smashed in two. There was blood and a single gunshot, but just who shot who at the Copacabana, the hottest spot north of Havana. At the Copacabana, music and passion were always the fashion at the
As Wisconsin is saying the word bag instead of bag. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Insight Eye Care has been serving the Fox Valley for over 30 years and are proud sponsors of Mino and the Mayor's Eye on the Community. Insight offers comprehensive eye care, including glasses and contact lenses. Their doctors have a special interest in treating chronic eye disease, specialty contact lenses, and pediatric care. Find Insight on Sawyer Street in Oshkosh and Chain Drive in Appleton. Visit WIinsight.com to schedule your eye exam. Improving lives by improving sight. Insight Eye Care.
Hey Appleton, it's time to come alive with music. It's Amanda with another new Wisco 411 for you, brought to you by Area 509 in Appleton. And this Saturday is Make Music Day. It's part of a worldwide celebration that takes place in over 1,000 cities in more than 120 countries. And Appleton is opening up College Avenue to have musicians and events, and everyone is invited. You can come listen to the music, or if you're a musician yourself, you can participate. Head to WGBW.FM and click events to find out how.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day, when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at mda75.org.
Matt Nair on air.
State Representative Christian Phelps.
As somebody who's in my first term in the legislature, one of the striking things is how seldom the majority party speaks with us. I don't know how many of my colleagues personally feel LGBTQ people don't deserve freedom, but that's kind of irrelevant at the end of the day. They've already spent a number of days attacking trans people because those are days they don't have to spend defending their very unpopular economic agenda.
Matt Nair on air, weekday mornings 9 to 11 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. The Todd Albaugh Show.
Ken, as I like to call him, my least favorite Martin, chairman of the Democratic National Committee.
The other night I said to myself for the first time, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
Matt Flynn.
You go into combat and the general goes, I'm afraid. It reminds me of the coach of the Jets back in the 90s. The other team would come on the field and say, boy, they look big. No, I swear to God. And the Jets lost 12 games. I mean, You can't have this kind of stuff. Get this guy out of here. Put in Ben Wickler.
The Todd Albaugh Show. Weekdays 2 to 4 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app.
Every 15 seconds, someone is diagnosed with cancer. If it's happened to you or someone you love, the American Cancer Society can help at every step of the journey. Visit cancer.org today.
You are never far away from your favorite radio station. We're always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app. And if you missed your favorite show or game, listen to a podcast of it anytime on the app or our website, civicmedia.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rich Locascio. You're listening to Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. I would like to introduce to you the Pine Tree Mauler from Marinette, Wisconsin. He is Pete Schwaba!
Thank you, Rich. I am the Pine Tree Mauler, named after the Pine Tree Mall. This is Pete Schwaba and Nightlight. Welcome back. Monica from Mount Horeb, she's in the 608. She says, eggplant to me is like licking a tire. I know it's odd, but I love broccoli, not cauliflower. Okay. That's all right, Monica. And Brian from Green Bay agrees with me. Damn it, Todd, put the phone away, says Brian. Let us have a week without the boss here. We don't need Todd chiming in on the chat. My guest is Rob Thomas. He is a Madison film critic and writes and edits the CityCast of Madison newsletter. You can also follow Rob at his Not That Rob Thomas Substack for all of his movie and TV reviews. He does great work there. Rob, 501, we got a texter from the 501 area code. I don't know where that is. Pete, I'm 76 years old. Nobody has ever explained to me what the whole Rotten Tomato rating series is about. Can you? I can, 501, but we have Rob here. Rob can help me explain. It's basically just cumulative movie reviews. They add them all up and decide what percentage of it is positive and what is negative. Rob, do you agree with this system? I quote it all the time.
It's interesting. I mean, I my reviews are up on Rotten Tomatoes, which is great. And you find interesting reviews. It kind of rates like the New York Times film critic at the same level as, well, a guy with a Substack like me, and so so I think the I don't know, the statistics are probably weighted in a certain way because of that. But it's interesting to get people's temperature, I think, of like what they're thinking. And what is it, like 60% it's fresh and below that it's rotten or something like that. And I find a lot of times I'm like, a review is like kind of fresh, kind of rotten, kind of in a way. Like it's kind of hard to quantify that with a tomato. But
yeah, I'm with you. Like sometimes I'll read a review there. I usually don't. I just look at the score. But if you really do kind of dive into the reviews, a positive isn't necessarily a glowing one. It was like, this movie has some good parts to it. And I don't know if they focus in on keywords. They can't be looking at every single review, or maybe they do. But by and large, I would say it's somewhat reliable.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, sometimes, and they also have an audience score there as well. Like you said, so sometimes like the Surfer, you'll see critics love it. Audiences don't like it so much, or vice versa. So it's a good starting point, but I still like reading great well-written reviews, and I don't read them usually of movies I'm going to review myself because I don't want to get other people's ideas in my head. But once I've written my review, I'm really interested to see good writing about other movies. And so in that sense, you get little blurbs, and you sort of get an idea of what people are, and you can read the full review, what people are writing and thinking about.
I love that. You're such a purist. I like that you're like this respected reviewer, but you also like to read other people's reviews.
That's how you get
so
better.
Great.
I'm sure you listen to other radio shows all the time, Pete, right?
Nope. Of course I do. Only right here at Civic Media, though.
Yes.
Yes, I just pulled up the Surfer. 46% audience and 86% critics. So
oh, wow.
I definitely have to give it a watch. Let's get to some stuff happening around Madison, Rob. You've got, there are Juneteenth celebrations happening around town. Quite a few of them, actually.
Yeah, actually, Juneteenth is Thursday. And it's a celebration of, it's specifically in 1865 when Black Texans found out that they were freed. The Lincoln, I think, signed into law the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, but America being what it is, it took a little while for all that to be enforced in every state. And that's become like just a celebration, I think. And there's all kinds of stuff going on. Like I think I just saw the soccer team here. The forward will have Juneteenth themed uniforms when they play on Thursday. There's a parade. I think that's Saturday, maybe Sunday, and a big sort of park celebration. I saw there's even a burlesque show. So all kinds of different ways for people to celebrate all week long here.
Go to CityCast Madison because you guys got them all listed. I love that you did this too. You guys did an article. I think it was yours actually. Best outdoor dining in Madison. Let me ask you this, Rob. How do you guys do this? You have a staff? Do you all go around? Is this from memory? How much research is involved? Because they're pretty comprehensive articles.
Well, thanks. Yeah. Well, usually I'm either, looking at other local media or I'm looking at the websites or Instagram pages of restaurants in this cases to see, who's opened a new patio. Some restaurants that I know have opened, like I think it's called the Attico Lounge. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It's on the roof of the Moxie Hotel. It has this fantastic rooftop bar space that on the 9th floor overlooks Bree Stevens Field across the street where they have a lot of concerts. Incredible view. So yeah, just kind of, and sure I'll miss a couple and try and get them later, but it's just, trying to take the temperature of what's going on. And, people love eating outdoors in the summer, and the Capital Times here in Madison has this great patio guide with like literally over 600 places you can eat outside, which is incredible. They're always updating it. So
it's so great.
Yeah.
Definitely check out CityCast Madison. Can we keep you just for a few more minutes, Rob?
Of course.
The news. I do have to get to Department Q, so that is my vow to the listener. We will talk about that. But let us know, what is your favorite or least favorite vegetable, folks? That's our question of the night. PJ says best vegetable is broccoli. The worst is cabbage, especially when it's fermented into sauerkraut. I could see that. Paula, Conrad's mom, checking in, says corn on the cob is delicious, but really not good for you. I'm the opposite of Conrad. I like cauliflower and not really a fan of broccoli. Thank you, Paula. PJ also says broccoli is great, steamed with butter. Agreed. PJ says tomato is a fruit. We got people taking issue with other people's answers here. When I get to these texts, all hell's breaking loose. Corn is apparently a grain. I didn't know any of this stuff. All right, we're coming back after intermission here for Act 2. This is Pete Schwaba and Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
This is 97.9 WGBW Denmark, Green Bay's real news and great conversation, a Civic Media radio station.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. The White House confirms that President Trump spoke today with Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu. The conflict between Israel and Iran escalating, Iran firing missiles this hour into Israel. ABC's Ian Pandel is in Tel Aviv.
We just had another Iranian missile barrage come towards us here in Tel Aviv. We had to take shelter along with everyone else here and across Israel. The sirens were blaring. It's not clear at the moment if any of them came through. It certainly looked as though many of those missiles were intercepted.
President Trump's words today indicating that the U.S. is now involved today, giving Iran an ultimatum, calling for unconditional surrender, and meeting with his national security team in the White House Situation Room. Ukraine's president says a U.S. citizen was killed when Russia launched hundreds of drones targeting Kyiv earlier today. Senate Republicans proposing new changes to President Trump's big spending bill, including permanent tax breaks and new Medicaid work requirements. This is ABC News.
You can always continue the conversation on social media. Share your thoughts when you find and follow Civic Media on Facebook, X, and Instagram.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. State Superintendent Dr. Jill Underly released a statement Friday criticizing the level of school funding in the budget approved by the Republican-controlled Joint Committee on Finance. Dr. Underly said the budget motion fails the state's students, educators, and public schools, arguing that it raises property taxes, cuts youth mental health funding, and doesn't support students with disabilities. School funding has become a controversial topic in recent years as districts across the state turn to operational referendums to solve budget issues. Meanwhile, Green Bay Area Public School Superintendent Vicki Bayer is also pleading with state lawmakers to increase the per-pupil funding and funding for special education. She sent a letter to the Joint Finance Committee last week. Then this week, she sent another letter to legislators from the greater Green Bay area, asking them to act and ask for a modification to the JFC proposal to include a 60% reimbursement for all special education and to increase the per-pupil state funding by $325 in both years of the budget. She wrote, "While this is far less than what is needed to ensure that the Green Bay Area Public School does not need to make cuts that will impact students, it would be a significant improvement over what's currently proposed." Winnebago County takes over ownership of the UW-Oshkosh Fox Cities campus in Menasha at the end of the month when the university shuts down. The county is holding a public forum to discuss the ways to repurpose and use that space. The forum, led by County Executive Gordon Hintz, will be Wednesday, June 25th at 5:30 at the United Way Fox Cities in Menasha. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.FM.
Brewers in Chicago. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports, where the Brewers begin a 3-game series tonight at Wrigley Field against the first-place team, the Chicago Cubs, led by manager Craig Counsell. Although the Brewers were able to slip into second place after beating the Cards 3 out of 4 games, Pat Murphy says there's still room for growth.
We're still young. We're still figuring out. We're not like the Cardinals or the Cubs or the Reds. They got a set kind of 10 or 12 guys they go with. We're still figuring things out. You know, this is a group. They're the right dudes. You know what I mean? And that's why they play to win.
College football, the Badgers excited about 6'1" receiver Zion Legree out of Florida, agreeing to commit to Wisconsin next year. Receivers coach Jordan Reed asked if his guys are anxious to return after going 5-7 last season.
It's a hungry room for that reason alone. Everybody feels they got something to prove. Everybody feels. And really, we're taking it as a room mentality. Like, we got everything to prove this year.
That's the Badgers receivers coach Jordan Reed with Sports on Mike Clemens.
Enjoying this local program? Find the complete Civic Media lineup at civicmedia.us or the Civic Media app.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Mostly cloudy with a few showers and thunderstorms tonight and lows in the mid-60s. Cloudy with scattered showers and thunderstorms for tomorrow, highs 70 to 75. More sunshine for Thursday, warm and muggy with a few showers and thunderstorms by Thursday night. Highs near 80. It's 82 right now.
John Mino and Jim Schmidt.
On Wednesday's show, Cheese Curd Nick is back. We'll see what he's been cooking up. And Karen Schneider from the Oshkosh Herald will be our Valley Focus. Plus, one of our all-time favorite musicians returns. Can you guess who? Join us.
Weekday mornings, 6 till 9. The Todd Albaugh Show.
Ken, as I like to call him, my least favorite Martin, chairman of the Democratic National Committee.
The other night I said to myself for the first time, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
Matt Flynn.
You go into combat and the general goes, I'm afraid. It reminds me of the coach of the Jets back in the 90s. The other team would come on the field and say, boy, they look big. No, I swear to God. And the Jets lost 12 games. I mean, You can't have this kind of stuff. Get this guy out of here. Put in Ben Wickler.
The Todd Albaugh Show. Weekdays 2 to 4 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. Mino and the Mayor.
Show him the picture he showed me today in the striped little short shorts.
No, it was the
They
belly.
would be banned
I
now.
know. No, John.
Too much skin.
Hubba, hubba, hubba.
Man, dig that crazy chick. Oh, wear short shorts. We wear short shorts.
Broadcasting live statewide from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay. This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a guy who's had a paper route for 25 years but never collected, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome back to Nightlight. Ladies and gentlemen, great to have you with me on this Tuesday night. It's a great night to sit inside and listen to the radio. It's hot outside. It's muggy. If you missed the first hour, we're talking about vegetables tonight. It is National Vegetable Day. Our question of the night is, what is your favorite vegetable and or least favorite vegetable? Share those We'll catch up on some texts in just a few minutes here. Piet Levy will be here at 7:20 from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. We're going to have a final recap here on what's coming up at Summerfest. I'll probably ask him a little bit about Brian Wilson and Sly Stone as well. Always fun to have Piet on the show. And we have, I think, a winner so far would probably be peas in terms of what is least exciting vegetable-wise. Amanda Nimmer, as I read earlier, said peas are useless and disgusting. Civic Media's own Luke Mathers says, no, Amanda, false. They're delicious. Oh, I see something brewing here, Conrad. It's going to blow up all over the network. It's insane. Jody Himden says, my favorite vegetable is a bell pepper, and lima beans are my least favorite vegetable. Mike says, my favorite vegetable is a cucumber. My least favorite vegetable is cauliflower. Wow, everybody picking on cauliflower. Luke Mathers also shared his favorite, says, roasted Brussels sprouts are the best. I agree. Those are outstanding. He says, I'm not a huge fan of lima beans, but vegetables are made up. There's nothing technical about the term. It's just made up by Big Culinary. Wow, people picking on Big Culinary. Daniel Wheeler finally says, my favorite veggies are the peppers inside of jalapeno poppers. My least favorite veggies are radishes. Even with salt, the bitter taste is nasty. I always forget about radishes being part of the vegetable family. We have a few more minutes with our current guest. Rob Thomas was nice enough to join us tonight. He is a Madison-based film critic and the editor of the CityCast Madison newsletter. And check out his Substack at Not That Rob Thomas on Substack.
I want to know who's still eating lima beans. I haven't seen a lima bean in 30 years. I thought they went extinct. Yeah.
That's a really interesting, and a couple people have said okra. I guess okra is more popular, but you're right. Lima beans is like eating liver and onions, I think.
Yeah.
It's like right out of a 70s sitcom or
Exactly. It should be like a Swanson's Hungry Man, TV dinner. Like
those were healthy.
That's right.
Rob, so tell us about Department Q. Are you a fan? Did you want to talk about it because you're a fan or not a fan?
I think I'm a fan, and it's the show that, you know how it is. You have your shows that you watch with your partner, and then you each have your own separate shows. And this is Department Q is the one that my wife and I are watching. We're almost done with it. It's a Netflix show, and it's good. I mean, I think I went into it with pretty high hopes because the writer director did The Queen's Gambit, which I think is I thought was a fantastic show. And this show is pretty good. It's like a detective show, pretty familiar. It's based on a Danish series of novels, but it's set. This version's set in Scotland. You have this sort of tortured, antisocial, brilliant detective trying to find this woman who's been disappeared for 4 years, but we know is not dead. He does not know that. And it's a good, it's a good mystery and good performances. And, like I said, the main detective is sort of like, kind of irritating in a very familiar way for that kind of character. But the people around him are really interesting as his sort of associates. So, yeah, I'm sticking with it. I think it's a perfectly fine watch, if you like Scandinavian mysteries.
That's very specific.
People do, though. Yeah.
Oh, I know. And I've seen some of them myself. I have a split personality. Rob, what have you seen Line of Duty?
Yes, I've seen a little bit of it. And it was incredible, I thought. Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I started, there's like 6 seasons, but a total of 36 episodes for all the seasons. And I'm on season 4. I've been reading, like, rarely do I like a show so much I read about it on the internet. Like I Wikipedia, I'm like, who are these actors? Apparently it was like the #1 show on BBC 2, so they moved it to BBC 1, the highest rated show ever. I've never even heard of it. And it was from 2012, but I'm so into it.
Is it on Netflix now?
It's on Hulu now, and you can probably
Hulu,
find
okay.
it on BBC as well.
Because I think it was on like BritBox or something for a few years, where it's is not a very widely seen streaming service. But the guy who also created this other great Netflix show called, I think it's called The Bodyguard, if you remember that one. That's that really good show. Like the guy, he can't just write an episode where nothing happens. Like there's always so much going on in every episode. no character is safe from getting killed or double crossed. It's so very entertaining show.
It's one of those shows where I watch it and I go, even if nothing else happens with the story or it doesn't escalate, it's still really good. The acting is good, the writing is good, but they always go in a different direction that you don't see coming.
Absolutely.
And it's I have to slow down because I don't want to be done with it. It's like one of those type of shows. So let's see, what else do we do here, Rob? How about the Midwest Linen Revival before we let you get out of here?
That's interesting. Yeah, we had a podcast today.
Yeah.
CityCast Madison podcast. And it's a really interesting, there's kind of the farm to table movement in Wisconsin elsewhere where like people go connect directly from the farm and get, vegetables. Speaking of vegetables, not lima beans, I don't think, but like vegetables from the farm and sort of, so where your food's coming from. So this movement is like know where your clothes are coming from, and they know where the flax fiber that's being turned into your shirts and the linen are being, or where they're being harvested, and so it's this interesting movement. There's these they call it like field to frock events in Madison to kind of build awareness. So it's an interesting thing. I just listened to the podcast and I'm starting to learn about it, but it's an interesting idea, I think, to sort of have a homegrown apparel economy here in Wisconsin.
It's so great. I got into this a few years ago when I had a distant relative pass away, a single guy, and he lived a long life, and they were getting rid of his stuff. And I'm like, look at all this stuff that one person had. So it's like, where does everything go?
Yeah.
There are 8 billion people on the planet, and I started to get very conscientious of this kind of stuff. And I started trying to find secondhand stuff that's still good. And it's a crapshoot. You don't know, you got to know where to go. And that's what you guys kind of did. You listed several places where people can go and find good secondhand stuff. And I like Goodwill, but you have to go to a cool city's Goodwill because you'll find better hand-me-downs, so to speak. But,
my daughter's really good at thrifting and like going and like, there's these places like you're right. We went to Chicago to a thrift store and the clothes were incredible because people like bring in their old clothes and take some new ones. And like, it was really good stuff. You can still find good stuff at St. Vinny's or Goodwill.
Sure.
You just got to look harder. Yeah.
Exactly. Is Ragstock even considered thrifting anymore? I mean, it seems like their stuff has become more higher end in the last.
That's a good question. Like, I don't really know. I don't know if people sell clothes to Ragstock the way they do some of these other places, but I think I've aged out of Ragstock, so I wouldn't be the one to ask.
Well, yeah.
I don't think those are retro. I think those are just nice clothes.
Yeah, that's a little upscale.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, this is always fun. Thanks so much for your time tonight, and keep up the great work.
Thanks, Pete. Appreciate it.
All right. Rob Thomas, folks, check out his work at CityCast Madison and follow him on his Substack at Not That Rob Thomas. Good stuff. Con, we got to catch up on some texts here.
Yeah.
There was one I saw. I don't even know where to start because I was kind of jumping around here. So bear with me, folks, and we will get through these texts. But great stuff coming through on the text line tonight. What is your favorite or least favorite vegetable? That's what we're talking about. 501, by the way, I made reference to that area code before, and the 501 texted back and said equals Arkansas. We spent 8 years in Arkansas after 40 years in Seattle and now 9 in my home state of Wisconsin. Thanks for the RT explaining. You're very welcome, and thank you for listening, 501, who said also recently was moved by Goya's ghosts, but RT was not kind. Interesting. Yeah, you never know. I mean, you can't just go... I'll even watch a movie, like, if it's something a friend of mine did and it only got in the 20s, and I've been there, I'll still watch it. But I'll watch something, even if it's like an action film, you kind of sway your opinions. Like if an action film gets in the 40s, I think that's graded differently. They're not as forgiving of that genre. So if you got an action film that is in the 40s or 50s, even though it's not technically fresh at 60%, you might still want to go for it. Comedy, too. Comedy is so subjective. Even if there's a comedy in the 30s, 30 percentile that is, or 40s, probably still worth a watch. A good drama, if they're panning it, it's in the 20s. It's probably terrible. So that's interesting. And it's a way to kind of learn how to navigate Rotten Tomatoes. But it is a good resource. Conrad's dad says all-time favorite tasting vegetable is asparagus. Every time I eat asparagus, it brings back great memories. Interesting. Way back in the day, my brother and I planted with our dad, Conrad's grandpa, 340 male hybrid asparagus plants on the homestead farm. Conrad, do you understand that line? 340 male hybrid asparagus.
I didn't know they had genders.
I didn't either. Interesting. Within 2 years, Steve says, of planting, producing the best asparagus crop, and is still producing to this day. Worst vegetable is okra. Boy, people do not like okra.
You know, I recently
Thank you, Steve.
tried asparagus, it was grilled.
Yeah.
And I really liked it.
It's great
But
stuff.
when I was younger, the smell, obviously, I was like, ugh, you know.
Yeah. And there's a smell afterwards everybody's familiar with. But the taste is fantastic, I think. A little olive oil and sea salt or something. 608 says, corn is a grain, not a vegetable. I would say I think she meant, or he meant, I would say tomatoes are my favorite, but it's a fruit. And that was from Kay in Portage. And she says, yes, she meant tomatoes. Mark from Prairie to Sac likes the vegetables we listed before, which I think were beets. I can't remember what else, Mark. And then Cam shared the potato again. This time it's a lot more active. It's like my meme of my face in a potato is doing aerobics. Thank you, Cam. Anna from Madison says, hi, Pete and Conrad. My favorite vegetable is broccoli. I would say broccoli's winning tonight. Would that sound accurate, Conrad, without doing a technical breakdown?
You know, broccoli's good.
Yeah. Jameson from Pennsylvania, he's in the 814, says, I just want to be the jerk who sends a stupid message. Thank you for your honesty, Jameson. Jameson says, vegetables aren't real. And we've heard this before from Luke Mathers. Tomatoes, cucumbers, even corn is a fruit. Lettuce is a leaf. Carrots are a root. Mushrooms are fungus. Broccoli is a flower. LOL. Had to be that guy. That's okay, Jameson. You've been that guy from time to time. We like that guy. He says, but on the topic, deep fried zucchini and cauliflower, rock. Green beans are the worst.
Correct.
No love for green beans tonight. Monica from Mount Horeb says eggplant. Oh, I read that one already. Thank you, Monica. Pamela from Wisconsin Rapids says least parsnips. Favorite corn on the cob from Pamela in Wisconsin Rapids. Very passionate about her vegetables. Jim in Brookfield says favorites, beets, especially golden beets, baked in the oven with olive oil. Oh, nice. Also, cauliflower oven baked with buffalo hot sauce. Interesting. Dislikes, none. Pete, try eggplant parmesan. I have, Jim. But for you, I'll give it another try. All right, we're coming right back with Piet Levy. We're going to talk some Summerfest. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite Light on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Please let me know that it's real. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off you.
GBW.
Are you over 50 and constantly feeling tired, bloated, or just a little off? Don't ignore it. Those could be signs that your liver is crying for help. As we age, our liver, which is essential for metabolism, digestion, immunity, and detoxification, needs extra support and protection. If neglected, it can leave you feeling sluggish and constantly off your game. That's where Active Liver from New Nordic comes in. Available in easy-to-take tablets or delicious gummies, Active Liver combines powerful natural ingredients like turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract to help support healthy liver function. With Active Liver, you're giving your body an essential daily defense against toxins from alcohol, fatty foods, and sweets, helping you reclaim your energy, improve digestion, lose the bloat, and strengthen your immunity so you can look and feel your best again. Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
I'm Dan Schaefer. Let's recombobulate. For the last few months, Governor Tony Evers has said repeatedly that he would make a decision about whether or not to run for a third term after the state budget process is completed. In a recent opinion column at the recombobulation area, I made the argument that the decision that Evers should make should be to not seek a third term as Wisconsin's governor. This argument is not one of ideological differences or policy disagreements. Tony Evers has been a good governor and has served the state well. This more has to do with Evers' age. He'll be 75 years old in November 2026, and about how the Democratic Party has had a massive, inescapable problem in its unwillingness to pass the torch to the next generation. Tony Evers needs to do what so many other Democrats have struggled so mightily to do and step aside when the time is right. And after Joe Biden's catastrophic 2024, this is a conversation we need to be having, and we need to be having it now. Democrats can't keep repeating the same mistakes over and over. It's time to do things differently.
Find all of Dan's work at the Recombobulation area.
The Elder Care Locator is here to help you live your best life as you age at home. Our call center advisors are ready to connect you with trustworthy local experts. Help is just a phone call away at 1-800-677-1116.
You want me, I want you, baby. My sugar boo, I'm levitating. The Milky Way, we're renegading. Yeah, 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 yeah. I got you, moonlight. You're my starlight. I need you.
I am Pete Schwaba. This is Night Light with Pete Schwaba. We are talking about all kinds of fun stuff tonight. We talk some movies. We've got some vegetable talk going on National Vegetable Day. What is your least favorite or favorite vegetable? You can share either or both. Anna from Madison says broccoli. I think I read that one already. Jameson, we read that one. God, I can't even keep up, Conrad. I need your help here, buddy. So we'll read your text on the radio if you're nice enough to text us what you think. Tom from New Berlin says least favorite. Peas, asparagus are favorite, but butter and salt can make all vegetables tasty. Really fresh is the best. No argument there, Tom. Thank you. Ross from Crawford County says favorite vegetable is probably the potato. And the least favorite is probably okra. I used to live in South Carolina, and okra is kind of weird. It gets kind of slimy. It's good in casseroles and gumbo, but by itself is not my favorite. That's kind of how I feel about eggplant. So, Jim from Appleton says, explain this one to me. I agree completely with the K-Man. I love broccoli, but can't stand cauliflower. Did I read that one already?
You did.
Did I? All right. I just liked it a lot. I wanted to read it again. It's like a sequel, a reboot, if you will. All right. This is exciting, folks. Summerfest is right around the corner. It starts on Thursday. And who better to discuss this amazing music festival that happens every year in Milwaukee than with the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel music writer, Piet Levy. Piet, how are you?
All right. How are you doing?
Doing very well. Do you have a favorite vegetable or least favorite?
Ooh, is an avocado a vegetable? Or is that a fruit? I do love avocados.
It's a fruit.
I think technically it's a fruit.
Ah, man, I'm feeling already.
We're not technical here, though. We'll accept that if that's...
Okay.
But is that your favorite or least favorite?
I love avocados. I love guacamole. Yeah, for sure.
Great choice. How you doing tonight? Good to have you.
I'm doing great. It's going to be a busy couple of weeks. We're getting into Summerfest coverage mode and gets pretty wild. It's easier than the days when it was like 11 days straight. And by day 11, you just don't know what's reality and what's like a fiction of your imagination walking around eating more cheese sticks from Saz's. So it's definitely better to have these breaks, but it's going to be busy, but I'm excited. We have a lot of great stuff we're going to be covering and a lot of great stuff happening at Summerfest.
Well, you're so good at your job and you're so passionate about music and you cover Summerfest so well. Tell us about, give us an overview, if you will. You were here like a couple months ago, I think, but what are some of the big attractions this year, and what can people look forward to?
Yeah, I mean, Summerfest is going to be 9 different days, June 19th to the 21st, 26th to the 28th, July 3rd to the 5th. And they're going to be like 600 acts. It's still, it's one of the longest running music festivals in the country. This is year 57, technically, 57 years since it started. Also one of the largest in the country. It was considered the largest in the Guinness Book of World Records back in 1999. I don't know if it still holds that that title or not, but definitely one of the biggest. And also what makes it so interesting is it's just one of the most musically diverse. I mean, it's just, you can see everything from, Foghat to Benson Boone and up and coming hip hop stars to veteran rappers to EDM to country, folk. And it's just kind of all over the place. Lots of local music too. So it really makes it a pretty interesting festival in terms of that they aspire to try to offer something for everyone. And they mostly succeed. Sometimes they're lacking in some stuff, but they mostly succeed. And there's a lot of good stuff to check out this year for sure.
You guys, I know they've added some new acts too. They just added Third Eye Blind and the Mavericks. Mavericks are great. Are you a fan
Yeah.
of both of those bands?
Yeah, I haven't actually seen Third Eye Blind live. That is one that's just I kind of keep missing. But I saw the Mavericks this spring with Dwight Yoakam at the Miller High Life Theater in Milwaukee. They were amazing. They were stunning. That's a great addition. They're such a fun band. They are so good live. All those instrumentalists in that band are just on fire when they play. So good. So that's going to be a cool addition for sure. And in terms of, you asked me things that are excited about or some big things kind of happening. I mean, they've got I mentioned Benson Boone. My family, my daughters and son are very upset that I'm seeing Benson Boone and they're not seeing Benson Boone. He's very popular right now. I mean, that was the thing where like they booked him before he announced his arena tour, and this is like the biggest headlining show that they booked was for him. This is kind of reminiscent of Billie Eilish back in 2019, where people thought, oh, who's Billie Eilish? Like a lot of she wasn't a household name yet, but then she just exploded, and that was like a very smart get, and that show sold out so well. The Benson Boone show is also going to be packed too, and then he did announce an arena tour, and that sold out like in, I don't know, 9 seconds or something allegedly. So it's just that'll be definitely a big one. You got Def Leppard on opening night, something quite different. You got James Taylor's this Saturday, Hosier. That show is sold out at the amphitheater June 20th. He's just really hot right now. Wow. And you got Lainey Wilson, who's like really kind of at the top of the country world. She's June 26th in the amphitheater. You've got Megan Thee Stallion. Her only show this summer is at Summerfest, and she's playing June 28th at the amphitheater. So that's something that we want to check out. You've got the Lumineers are coming for closing night, July 5th. The Killers. They're only playing like 3 shows in North America this summer, and again, Summerfest is one of them. And that's another thing about Summerfest. Yeah, I mean, the thing about Summerfest is that you'll get touring acts are just kind of coming through, making their stops. But then you'll get these kind of one-off shows just because of their connections, and these acts are willing to do it. Jason Mraz is doing his only show of the summer, opening for James Taylor Saturday at the amphitheater. And that's just the amphitheater. I mean, like I said, there's like 600 acts. There's a lot of stuff on the grounds that are going to be really exciting. They're going to have an artist from like kind of this new wave of Afrobeats. It's a genre that's just been exploding, and Summerfest has not had anything. And even the Milwaukee music market hasn't really been booking Afrobeats artists. But they're going to have Ira Starr is coming to perform that last weekend in a headlining slot, I think July 3rd. So it's awesome that they're doing new things as well.
That's great. You mentioned that last time you were here too about the Afrobeats. I think that's so cool. Piet Levy is my guest. He is the music writer for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, and we're talking about Summerfest. And we'll have a few more minutes with Piet on the other side of the news. I want to ask. We've got Bow Wow is there, no longer Lil Bow Wow. So I'm going to ask you about that when we come back, Piet. This is Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Put it in the ground where the flowers grow. Gold and silver shine.
You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for Matinee on Air.
This is your local Civic Media radio station. Want to hear even more? Anytime? Find all of it at civicmedia.us.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. The White House confirms that President Trump spoke today with Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu. The conflict between Israel and Iran escalating, Iran firing missiles this hour into Israel. ABC's Ian Pannell is in Tel Aviv.
We just had another Iranian missile barrage come towards us here in Tel Aviv. We had to take shelter along with everyone else here and across Israel. The sirens were blaring. It's not clear at the moment if any of them came through. It certainly looked as though many of those missiles were intercepted.
President Trump's words today indicating that the U.S. is now involved today, giving Iran an ultimatum, calling for unconditional surrender, and meeting with his national security team in the White House Situation Room. Ukraine's president says a U.S. citizen was killed when Russia launched hundreds of drones targeting Kyiv earlier today. Senate Republicans proposing new changes to President Trump's big spending bill, including permanent tax breaks and new Medicaid work requirements. This is ABC News.
Brewers in Chicago. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports, where the Brewers begin a 3-game series tonight at Wrigley Field against the first-place team, the Chicago Cubs, led by manager Craig Counsell. Although the Brewers were able to slip into second place after beating the Cards 3 out of 4 games, Pat Murphy says there's still room for growth.
We're still young. We're still figuring out. We're not like the Cardinals or the Cubs or the Reds. They got a set kind of 10 or 12 guys they go with. We're still figuring things out. This is a group. They're the right dudes. You know what I mean? And that's why they play to win.
College football, the Badgers excited about 6'1" receiver Zion Legree out of Florida, agreeing to commit to Wisconsin next year. Receivers coach Jordan Reed asked if his guys are anxious to return after going 5-7 last season.
It's a hungry room for that reason alone. Everybody feels they got something to prove. Everybody feels. And really, we're taking it as a room mentality. Like, we got everything to prove this year.
That's the Badgers receivers coach Jordan Reed with Sports on Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Lilo & Stitch has finally been dethroned, and there is a new box office champ. How to Train Your Dragon was #1 this past weekend with a whopping $83 million. The film brought in another $115 million overseas for a total of about $200 million worldwide. Universal Studios has already given the go-ahead for a live-action sequel. Lilo & Stitch still managed to come in second place in its fourth week with $15.5 million at the gate. So far, PG movies are king this summer as How to Train Your Dragon joins the Minecraft movie and Lilo & Stitch as box office titans. According to Variety, PG movies have generated almost half the box office take for the year to date and crossed over $1.5 billion. Coming in third place was A24's Materialists. The rom-com for adults brought in $12 million, exceeding expectations by a couple mil. And it's all about action for the final two films in the top 5, which include Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning and John Wick's Ballerina. Dead Reckoning has made over $500 million worldwide. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Local radio for you and your community. It's Civic Media's mission with stations across Wisconsin. Find your favorites at civicmedia.us.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Mostly cloudy with a few showers and thunderstorms tonight and lows in the mid-60s. Cloudy with scattered showers and thunderstorms for tomorrow, highs 70 to 75. More sunshine for Thursday, warm and muggy with a few showers and thunderstorms by Thursday night. Highs near 80. It's 82 right now.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
The Todd Albaugh Show.
Ken, as I like to call him, my least favorite Martin, chairman of the Democratic National Committee.
The other night I said to myself for the first time, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
Matt Flynn.
You go into combat and the general goes, I'm afraid. It reminds me of the coach of the Jets back in the 90s. The other team would come on the field and say, boy, they look big. No, I swear to God. And the Jets lost 12 games. I mean, You can't have this kind of stuff. Get this guy out of here. Put in Ben Wickler.
The Todd Albaugh Show. Weekdays 2 to 4 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. Jane Matnair and Greg Bach.
Coming up on the show, Dr. Kristen Lyerly will.
Welcome back. I am Pete Schwaba. This is Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network. Great to have you with us on this Tuesday night. I'm going to go out on a limb here and just say it feels like a Thursday. This does not feel like a Tuesday. We got two great guests, a question that is lighting up the text line. What is your favorite or least favorite vegetable, folks? Let us know. I will read your text on the radio. And we have a few more minutes here with our guest. He writes for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, primarily about music, and does a great job covering Summerfest, too. Piet Levy is with us on the stream. So, Piet, Rick Springfield, is this guy, how old is this guy now?
Oh, gosh, I don't know how old he is. You know, we have the same birthday, Rick Springfield and I, so shout out to all the August 23rd birthdays out there. Yeah.
Hey, have you ever seen the Avett Brothers live?
They're really good. And they're also playing at Summerfest this year on June 26th, I believe. And they're an excellent live band. Yeah, excellent live band. It's going to be a lot of fun with them for sure.
What they seem like mostly a cover band like 15 years ago. Do they still primarily do other people's stuff, or do they have original stuff?
They've done a ton. They do a ton of original stuff. And they are just really you're talking about the Mavericks and how good the Mavericks is as a live band. I mean, the Avett Brothers are also just a really great live band where they just have so much fun and they're just playing until they're going to burst into flames. Basically, they're really good. So I think that's going to be another really good one to check out for sure.
I think a show that I get the most excited about, I probably won't be able to make it down there, but is the Psychedelic Furs. I've never seen them live, and the songs I like of theirs I really love. I love the song Heartbreak Beat, and I've heard people do it acoustically, and I like the way the Furs did it in the 80s. What is a band like that? How many people are the Furs going to draw 40 years out?
I think they'll draw a pretty good crowd. I mean, that's what's interesting about Summerfest is I've seen huge crowds for a band. Like I remember going to like a matinee show, I think with maybe it was Night Ranger a few years ago, and was really impressed like how many people were there for that band. And and Everclear, they're playing like a 6 o'clock slot. That's a band that you might say it's past its commercial prime, but there was a huge crowd for Everclear, and that's the thing. Like, sometimes you can see those bands that I guess you can call them nostalgia acts, but they still are having fun, having a good time. Their fans are having a good time. They do draw big crowds. So I think that'll happen again for them. I think the Furs are opposite Devo, if I remember correctly.
Really?
I have to double check. I know I'm reviewing the Furs. I'm covering some other stuff that night too. I'm going to be kind of bouncing around a lot. I think I'm covering reviewing like 40 acts or something all combined, including the amphitheater and side stage stuff. It's going to be local stuff and headliners and new artists and older artists, and it's going to be all over the place, but very excited about it.
That's so cool. Billy Corgan has this band Machines of God. Have you heard them?
I haven't heard that band, but the what I'm hearing about it is it's him doing probably some deeper cuts from Smashing Pumpkins. And I think, there might be some Smashing Pumpkins hits in there too. I remember seeing them a long time ago where it was like a deep set list basically where they avoided a lot of the hits and the crowds get a little more antsy. I think with this new name, this is kind of like the way to be like, this is for like the real fans who like love the stuff that you never typically hear live. So that's kind of, I think, how he's pitching it, but we'll find out. I'll be at that one too.
Nice. I didn't know the Fray was still touring. Have you ever seen them?
Yeah, no, definitely. I've seen them several times. Yeah, and they are still touring. This is, I think, the 20th anniversary of their big breakout album, if I remember correctly. I think it was 2005. Yeah, so they're going to be touring. They're also doing like an afternoon show at this thing, the American Family Insurance House. So, there's all the main stages, and then they have this very small room where it's like first come, first serve, where they have headliners earlier in the afternoon come in and do some like acoustic songs typically. And the Fray, they're going to do that, which is cool for fans of the Fray who, that was a band that in its prime filled the amphitheater. And, to see them in kind of an intimate space with, a few dozen people will be pretty cool. There's another artist named Alex Warren, who has this song Ordinary. It's currently number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. It's probably going to still be number 1. It might be number 1 again if Sabrina Carpenter came and kind of knocked it off, but it could climb back to number 1 again by the time he performs at Summerfest. And he's also doing an amphitheater, American Family Insurance House set, which I'm expecting will be just mobbed with people just trying to get into that because he's got one of the hottest songs in the world right now.
Yeah. You've got Chicago at the BMO Pavilion. What is their band like now? Do you know? I was always a fan of their music. I'm kind of amazed that they've had all these different iterations and switched lead singers and found new sounds. They're a pretty resilient band.
Yeah, they are. And I think there's probably a couple people that are still in there from the olden days or whatever you might want to say. But again, they brought in people throughout the years who, again, very good musicians. I mean, that's very much a musicians kind of band. I haven't seen them live in a while. It's probably been about 10 years, but I was impressed by their set 10 years ago. And I'm sure they'll deliver a crowd pleasing set July 4th at the BMO Pavilion.
Another name I want to ask you about, when I was a stand-up in the 90s and I would work the comedy tent, which I don't even know if they still have a comedy tent there, but Paul Siebert and the Milwaukeeans they were kind of one of the bigger bands. And now I see he has a new band. That's kind of cool. Does he play around Milwaukee quite a bit?
Oh yeah, he still does. It's Paul Siebert Tomorrow Sound is the name of the band, and he's actually been in that band for a bit now. But yeah, he's going to be playing. You've got a lot. Willie Porter's going to be performing. He's another veteran of the Milwaukee music scene. Mike Mangione's going to be performing. You've got those folks. And then you've got like newer artists. There's a R&B artist named Aya, who I'm a fan of. She's doing her Summerfest debut. Allison Mahal. We actually have a big story about her, Allison Mahal, at jsonline.com/music, where she did like 3 songs for us for a series called USA Today Acoustic. It's at the Journal Sentinel. It's being shared with USA Today and other outlets. She's a really great singer-songwriter. She's performing at Summerfest for the very first time this year as well. Chicken P is a very influential Milwaukee rapper. He's also making his Summerfest debut. There's a lot of really interesting artists kind of all over the place, covering all sorts of different sounds just from Milwaukee that are definitely worth checking out. And get there early for that. I mean, a lot of these artists are playing like in the afternoon slots, and some people will think, oh, Summerfest there's only good stuff at 10 p.m. No, there's really good stuff kind of throughout the day, and there's a lot of really good local stuff throughout the day. So you should get there early, and you might even get a free ticket if you get there early enough, or with one of their promo days.
Yeah. Have you seen or heard the band 7,000 Apart? They're playing at the U.S. Cellular Connection stage.
Yeah, I know of them, but I've never seen them. But I've heard really good things about them. Have you caught them? They were kind of based in Green Bay, right?
Correct, Green Bay and Sweden, and they've been in the studio several times, and they're a duo, husband and wife duo, and they're just really fun and kind of, I think, on the rise. They do really well here and in Sweden, so I'm excited to hear how they do at Summerfest. I'm sure it'll go really well. So tell me about, what is School of Rock, Piet? That's on a lot of different days, kind of at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day, I should say.
It's at the beginning of the day. And, School of Rock, there's a national chain, School of Rock, like similar to the movie with Jack Black, where they are like rock music schools for kids, typically, and teens. And what they've been doing at Summerfest, I don't know how many years now, but there'll be different School of Rock students from kind of different School of Rock schools around the country that come in and perform. I think it's this first weekend. I think it's like early slots, usually on multiple stages. And then it's a chance for them to kind of have that festival experience, to be able to perform on stage at this big festival. And then they hang out throughout the day. I remember seeing, School of Rock kids just like jamming out to bands like in the afternoon, just having like the best time. And that's really fun to see too. Like this, just to see people who really are good at music and love music just having so much fun, just absorbing music. So they bring a lot of color to the grounds too.
That's excellent. My guest is Piet Levy. Check out his work at the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. He writes about music primarily and covers Summerfest. We're talking about Summerfest, which is right around the corner. It opens in 2 days. So get your tickets now. Did Lil Bow Wow, did he just drop the Lil because he's older?
I think he dropped a little because he's older, and that was a while ago. He's been Bow Wow for a bit, and that was before several rappers had the Lil. Like there were rappers that kind of embraced the Lil, no matter the age. But yes, he was Lil Bow Wow, became Bow Wow. He's filled in. He was Bone Thugs and Harmony were supposed to play on opening night, June 19th, and they had to drop out due to unforeseen circumstances. Bow Wow was like a last minute fill-in, but he's still quite popular. I think he'll still draw a big crowd. And again, you get hip hop from kind of all over the place, whether it's Bow Wow or it's Megan Thee Stallion, or like I said, a Milwaukee rapper like Chicken P, or a Certified Trapper, another really good Milwaukee rapper, Steve the Stoner from Milwaukee. They're going to be playing too. So you get hip hop from kind of all over the in terms of like how long they've been around, the kind of sounds and styles they're doing. So yeah, Bow Wow, June 19th. I think he'll have a pretty good crowd at the Aurora Pavilion.
I think, I mean, just looking over this list, the best bang for your buck for a guy my age, you've got Springfield, Rick Springfield at 9:30 at night, Grand Funk Railroad at 7:30. They were a little before my time, but Paul Young. Is that the Paul Young at 5:30 in the afternoon?
I believe it's the Paul Young, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then Wang Chung before Paul Young.
Yeah.
I would watch that entire. I don't think I'd leave that stage all day.
There you go. It's somewhere you can kind of hang out for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff kind of throughout the festival. Just a lot of really great things to check out. And I mean, we're going to be there. There's like 7 of us doing reviews. I mean, we're going to be reviewing like 8 sets a day on the side stages. We're going to be doing the amphitheater every day. We're going to be doing kind of video coverage and just so much more stuff. So we'll have a lot of stuff at jsonline.com/Summerfest, like throughout the run, and kind of best and worst of each weekends and all that kind of stuff. So we really, Summerfest is quite a beast to cover, but we really love doing it. And we we give a lot of coverage for readers because there's a lot of interest in Summerfest.
Absolutely, and you do a great job. I want to ask you before we let you go about Sly Stone and Brian Wilson, two titans passing away in the same week. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Do you have thoughts on both of those guys?
Yeah, I mean, just incredible. It's really hard to really summarize what a major impact they had. I mean, with Sly Stone, there's obviously that Milwaukee connection where there's this famous concert in Milwaukee where it just drew, like at Summerfest actually, just massive crowds. If you Google search, Sly Stone Summerfest, it's really one of like the big landmark events at Summerfest where it's just like huge crowds and just like really wild. I can't remember the stats off the top of my head, but it was like a night of like local legend basically. And Brian Wilson, he's such an incredible artist and he's just a genius. And I didn't get to see Sly Stone perform. I did get to see Brian Wilson perform several times. Obviously he had, a lot of troubles and mental health issues. And as a performer, he could struggle, honestly, but he is such an amazing musician, And the music he made, it's just timeless and just so deeply influential. And, I think we're just blessed. We were blessed by his music, just really incredible music.
Absolutely. And I didn't know, I was talking about this last week. I didn't know what a pioneer he was until I was probably in my 30s. Sly Stone, I didn't know what a pioneer he was till I was like in my 40s. And you see these documentaries, like unless you're really tied into music like you are, but these are really fun people to research and you can see their contributions. And as I say that, Piet, I'm pulling up your article here. I Googled it and it came up from 5 years ago. You wrote about, the headline is Joints, Delays, and a Sea of People. 50 years ago, Sly and the Family Stone gave Summerfest its wildest night. I'm so excited to read that later.
Cool. Yeah, please do. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time tonight, buddy. Enjoy Summerfest. Try to not overdo it, though, and we'll be watching. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Pete. Appreciate it.
You got it. All right, that's Piet Levy. Check out his work in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Just great stuff. We'll be back to read some more of your texts and wrap things up. This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba on a Tuesday on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Just another night, another vision of love. You feel joy, you feel pain, 'cause nothing will be the same. Just another night, it's all that it takes to understand the difference between lovers and fake. So baby, I talk to you.
As Wisconsin as a fish fry on a Friday night, this is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Appleton Cigar Company on College Avenue has been serving the community for over 25 years. If you are a cigar aficionado looking for a one-of-a-kind experience, you need to check out Appleton Cigar, which boasts the largest selection of cigars north of Milwaukee with over 706 cigars to choose from in a walk-in humidor. The Cigar Lounge offers an impressive variety of spirits and cocktails that pair perfectly with a premium cigar. For the full experience, come to Appleton Cigar at 415 College Ave, Monday through Saturday, 11:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. For more information, go to appletoncigar.com.
Matt Nair on air.
From articles that I have seen, if you are a bagel purist, you should not toast your bagel. I think nothing's better than a toasted bagel and a schmear.
Folks, can we have a moment of honesty? Do you really like bagels, or do you like the schmear that is transported by them? Get rid of the stigma. If I walk into this room eating cream cheese out of a tub with a spoon.
Why is that wrong?
Matt Nair on air, weekday mornings 9 to 11 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
The Todd Albaugh Show.
Ken, as I like to call him, my least favorite Martin, chairman of the Democratic National Committee.
The other night I said to myself for the first time, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
Matt Flynn.
You go into combat and the general goes, I'm afraid. It reminds me of the coach of the Jets back in the 90s. The other team would come on the field and say, boy, they look big. No, I swear to God. And the Jets lost 12 games. I mean, You can't have this kind of stuff. Get this guy out of here. Put in Ben Wickler.
The Todd Albaugh Show, weekdays 2 to 4 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app.
Being blind doesn't look how others may think.
Retinitis pigmentosa aimed to overwhelm my family.
It tried to cut me down. I know where to find support.
Learn more at fightingblindness.org, a public service message from the Foundation Fighting Blindness.
Missed your favorite show live on air? It's easy to find what you enjoy wherever you listen to podcasts, including Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. And we're always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app.
Your local Civic Media radio station is your source for real news and great conversation, plus fun and exciting contests. For a complete list of contest rules, log on wgbw.fm/contest-terms. Your news, conversations, and a whole lot of fun. It's all on your local Civic Media radio station or the Civic Media app.
Welcome back. It's been a fun show, Conrad. What do you think?
I've enjoyed my time.
You've been very quiet over there. Is everything all right?
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay.
I just, people like green beans.
That's really set you in a mood for the whole show, didn't it?
People like cauliflower. It's put me in a mood.
Okay.
And also, those people didn't wave at me. I'm just thinking about it still.
Oh, listen, that is the kind of thing that can kind of set you off. It sets a tone. It's a tone setter. Honestly, rude people, not that they were overtly rude, but like not waving, man, that bugs me.
You know what? It did help, though. Yesterday, I got home, and, in my apartment, you have to unlock the door with the key every time.
Yeah.
The lady opened the door for me.
Oh.
That was like, I don't have to use my keys.
Averages out.
Because I was bringing in some water.
Okay.
I had a full case. And, she opened
Full
the door
case
for me.
of water in one hand, Sydney Sweeney bath soap in the other.
Well, the 30-pack is heavy.
You got groceries.
I used it up in one night.
You know what would make it less heavy? If there was a hole in the middle of the soap.
You're right.
It'd be a lot easier to manage. Hey, tomorrow night on Nightlight, Dave Patterson will be here. He is he's the writer and producer of the Bridge to Terabithia movie. His mother, Catherine Patterson, wrote the book, which was a Newbery Award winner. Such a phenomenal book, which is actually banned in some schools, which is sinful. It's just some people ought to be ashamed of themselves. But Dave will be here tomorrow at 6:35. And then DeLorean Walls will be here in the second hour from Brothers Helping Brothers. It is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, June. So we will talk to DeLorean. He'll be here in the studio. That'll be nice to get to know DeLorean. Todd Michaels referral, who is on vacation and has apparently turned off his phone. So I was kind of trying to draw him out by talking about Todd. Not like I was saying anything bad, but just that I think he should leave us alone. He's on vacation.
Yeah.
Who do you think's in charge when Todd is gone? Amanda?
John Mino.
John Mino. Okay, good to know. He's got to keep us in line. Our question tonight, folks, we're just going to wrap up these few texts here. What was your favorite or least favorite? What is your favorite or least favorite vegetable? It is National Vegetable Day today. And PJ on the stream closes out the stream comments with, Brussels sprouts also steamed with butter are delicious. They are. And he goes, olive oil, too, is great on them. And it's a little healthier than butter. Some sea salt. Great stuff. Susan from McFarland says, good evening, Conrad with a K and Pete. That was nice how she did that. My least favorite vegetable is lima bean, but other than that, I can't say it's can't say it. There's nothing like. I think that's a typo. I find that roasting vegetables makes them sweeter and more palatable for people who don't like vegetables. Great point, Susan. She says also, I've been binging Blind Spot on Netflix, which is a pretty good series. I haven't heard of that. Have you?
Nope.
Blind Spot. I'll have to check that out. Thank you very much, Susan. Appreciate the tip. Jim from Brookfield says, thanks, Pete, for giving eggplant another try. Eggplant Parmesan is different. I can handle it mixed in with those sauces and cheese. That helps a little bit with the red sauce, and it's just eating it on its own. I guess it has to be cooked right. Jim says, my daughter makes a great eggplant Parmesan, and you are welcome to come down to Brookfield for dinner. Well, thank you, Jim. That's very nice. That's my whole goal with this show, is to get listeners to feed me so I get free grub.
There you go.
It's working. Thank you, Jim. Bridget from the 818. Haven't heard from Bridget in a while. She says, favorite roasted broccoli. Really any roasted vegetable. Least favorite is eggplant. Boy, people have a love-hate relationship with eggplant. Steady Eddie chimes in. He's in the 608. He says, I like baby carrots, but I won't eat full-grown peas. Peas taste bad and are not for me. I will gladly eat raw cauliflower or broccoli. Those two things are good, but don't cook them. Just let them be. Truth be told, mushrooms are not a vegetable. Like Pete, Conrad, and I, mushrooms are more accurately known as a fun guy. Get it? Fun guy?
I get it.
Thank you, Steady Eddie. It's good work tonight, buddy. That's like that old joke. Mushroom walks into a bar, says, hey, bartender, give me a beer. Bartender says, we don't serve your kind here. And the mushroom says, why not? I'm a fun guy. Hi-oh! David
Where's the
Patterson
boo
tomorrow
button?
night. That should be a ding. Like, I just got an answer ready.
I actually broke the bell.
You broke the bell?
I did.
See, you're benching too much now. You got to calm down with that benching.
It was on the wrong side of me, and I actually went like this, you know?
Oh, and you like
flew off.
Sent it along. Oh, man. That's coming out of your paycheck, buddy. You know how much these cost? Here, right here. These aren't cheap. No idea how much those cost. So you're doing Mino and the Mayor tomorrow. Check that out. Conrad's work will be on display. And then I got you tomorrow night, and then Amanda Nimmer comes in Thursday and Friday to produce Nightlight, and then Todd Michaels, he won't be back until next week, so I'll be in Madison Monday and Tuesday. That'll be fun. Somebody's here? Who's here, Conrad? Somebody's in the studio?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you all for listening. Thanks to my guest, Piet Levy. Always fun to talk to Piet about music. Enjoy Summerfest, everybody. And then Rob Thomas. Check out the CityCast Madison newsletter and read Rob's movie reviews on his Substack. He does outstanding work there. Great having those guys on the show. Thank you for your calls and texts, everybody. And am I forgetting something? I had all this stuff written down. I can't believe we got through all of it.
I think green beans are the worst.
Green beans are.
I think cauliflower was lima beans was the overall winner, I think.
And Rob Thomas doesn't believe they still exist. He doesn't think lima beans are real still. But great text, everybody. Thank you all for being a part of Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. As always, great fun. We'll be back tomorrow night. On behalf of the lovable producer, Conrad, good night, Wisconsin.
Take me to your best friend's house, marmalade, we're making out, oh yeah. Oh yeah.